Will we go to the player ratings?
Yes, and we won't delay too much on them. And I think there should be 0.5s involved here as well, because I think sometimes a 6 or 7 is either too harsh or too generous.
Okay, all right. Let's start off with Eibhear Quilligan. Again, like there was a couple of big saves. The Robbie O'Flynn one, which I actually thought he veered to the right away from goals a little bit and struck the ball exactly where the boss of the stick was going to be for a left-hander like Quilligan. So good save, but a save that should have been made. But I thought in general he was very, very good. I'd give him about an 8, and I think he should be the All-Star this year.
I'd give him 7.5, but yeah, there's not, unless you're going to go 7.75. I don't think we'll go that minute. Like I thought Adam Hogan was outstanding at different stages yesterday. Like there was a stage there where Connolly was going through on goal and he just held him up so well, and he was on the yellow at the time. He's a strong 8 now for me. I thought he was outstanding.
Oh yeah, I thought he was sensational. I'd give him nearly an 8.5. Would you stretch to an 8.5?
I've no issue with rounding up there.
0.25.
Yeah, no, 8.5 will do fine. As regards Conor Cleary, like he was under the cosh at different stages. I thought he was so good probably from the yellow card onwards, to be honest with you. And I thought he dominated that duel. Listen, he's right on the edge. He's pulling and dragging. But like people don't realise, like, what's he supposed to do? Like, is he supposed to just let his man have the ball and just dance around him? Like, that's the game. Like, I know we want to see great forwards ripping it up, but I have as much appreciation for what he did yesterday as any goal that was scored. And it's far from thankless. So 8 is bang on the money.
Yeah, no, I think he's good, and you can see off the ball, like he's interfering with his man regularly, but it is a physical game. It's part of it. You're kind of, I'll have my hand on my man here and keep one eye on the referee and see how long I can get away with it. But you know what? Everyone wants someone like him in their team.
I don't know if you saw it, Shane. It was very interesting. And it probably worked. Maybe it worked in Clare's favour. But Clare were out in the field about 2 minutes before Cork for the second half. And the umpires were having a good chat. I think it was actually Jimmy Barry Murphy was the umpire, was having a good chat with Conor Cleary. And it was, I don't know if he was warning him or what. But all of a sudden, Lohan lands out. And this was over like at the 21-yard line, the middle of the goals. Lohan lands out and is having his word with himself. And he had his word with Johnny Murphy as well. So like, listen, I think as a manager, you take advantage of any scenario. Like, you definitely don't waste the 90 seconds. If there's a chance to sow a seed, even if it's the tiniest seed, that seed might come to roost when a big decision comes maybe 20 minutes, half an hour later. So they took the opportunity, in fairness to them. On Conor Lean, he's veering towards a 9 for me. Right,
okay.
He's right up there.
Then you're talking man of the match territory.
Yes. He was second in line for man of the match in my view.
Right, okay. Yeah. So, I think 8.5 is pretty good. Like, he was on Horgan. Horgan got 2 from play. There was no doubt who won that battle. Look, everyone would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.5 is pretty high praise.
8.5 is plenty praise, in fairness. Plenty praise. Yeah.
Well, like, if we have people who want to get comments in here and let us know, do you think he deserves a 9? Let us know.
Maybe part of me saying 9 is like not being smart, and Tommy said it. Who was Conor Lean 5 or 6 months ago? Like, he was an unknown. Like, I'd probably give him more brownie points for the fact your first All-Ireland final and you're going around here absolutely cool as a breeze. Like, he was so good on the ball. Oh, my God. He was like a grizzled veteran on the ball. I couldn't get over it. It was unbelievable. But I'm go on. Thank you.
It costs us nothing. Let's give him the 9. It costs us nothing to do it. Diarmuid Ryan, then. So he had his hands full with Seamus Harnedy for a lot of the game, but he did a lot of excellent stuff too. And I always think of the 2014 All-Ireland when I think of games where on both sides, players played brilliantly against each other. So both Harnedy and Ryan, neither won the battle, but both came out with credit, and both saw their man do lots of good stuff too. I'd be happy to give him around an 8.
Yeah, I'd probably have it closer to an 8.5. He clipped 2 points in a row at the start of the game. That would have cancelled out a good bit of Harnedy's. I thought as the game went on, he got stronger and stronger. I thought he was probably nearly third in line for man of the match at full time, if I'm honest with you. I think the gleam was probably taken off him a little bit in extra time. So I'd be happy because Kingston did hit him for a couple of points, and then he was taken
So
off.
Can you really go for 8.5 on someone who had 6 points scored on them?
No. I say it probably goes back to an 8. To be honest with you, but at full time he was probably on the short list for man of the match.
Yeah, no, he was really, really excellent. And when we're talking about what's been done against the player as well, it's not like we're looking to have a pop and diminish them. Yeah. But if we are going to come up with figures here and justify them, I think we have to sort of give it a little bit of explanation. So we'll go with eight there. John Conlon then.
What do you think? Because I had people on to me saying, what do Shane and Owen Brislan think of John Conlon now?
But that was Brislan's comments. That wasn't mine. And to be fair, there were days where he was brilliant and there was days when he was under pressure. So, like, you have to say there's, like, you know, he came out on top for a finish, like, and he's going to get his All-Star, and he was brilliant. But, like,
do you think he'll get his All-Star?
I'd say he probably will, yeah.
He'd be in the mix, all right. He definitely put himself into the mix yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
And like he was marking two of the most explosive, fastest players in the game, and I don't think he was burnt at any stage. His positioning was outstanding, and his, as Kylie would say, his scramble defense was brilliant. Like he got back beautifully a couple of times to scramble and just get his arm in around and get his body in around and just let the cavalry arrive in.
I'd give him 8. What do you think?
Yeah, see, part of me with Condon is you are taking his age into it a bit, and you're wondering how is he still on the field at the end. Like he didn't totally dominate the game, but he was a magnificently solid 8 throughout, in my view. Like David McInerney was probably a little bit better than Condon, I would have said. And like Jesus, some of the catches McInerney made were absolutely brilliant. There was one he made in amongst a sea of hands and bodies, and he'd no right to come out with the ball at all. And like, listen, Robbie O'Flynn could have had a goal. It could have been a black card to McInerney and a penalty, but it wasn't. So the risk reward there, like McInerney comes up with 3 or 4 thumbs up out of that. Like it could have been a goal. He denied a goal. He didn't get punished. His team didn't get punished. I don't know if
Dawson didn't have a big day either.
No, he didn't. I don't know if you saw the crack with Conley. Like,
I did.
McInerney was fairly forceful with him. I tell you that. By God, he was fairly forceful. But he really, he set the tone physically. I would say too. I'd have him. You're getting him a 9.
Yeah, I'd go as far as a 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that because I thought he was outstanding, and I thought he played great stuff when a lot around him in particular weren't playing well early on too.
So we're sort of agreeing that everyone in the half back line was excellent, but he probably was about a point better than the other 2 boys.
I wouldn't have thought he was a point better than them, but I would have probably thought he was 8.5 if I'm honest. But I didn't think he was that noticeably better than them. But
yeah,
he had very little scored off him in comparison to, like, say, Dermot Ryan. Just like, I don't know how much was scored off McInerney yesterday. Very, very little, I would suggest. Very little.
I'd be happy to give him a 9. Look, we'll go with it. It costs us nothing.
Yeah, all right.
It costs us nothing. Okay, then David Fitzgerald. So he's 8, but he was actually wing forward. Scored 4, missed one, not 8, which is kind of crazy. His man did get on a nice bit of ball. Coleman did score a nice bit. Was involved in one of the goals as well. I find it really hard to actually mark Fitzgerald's performance.
If you look at it, the call that today, you say he got 4 points from playing in an Ireland final, which is a huge contribution. But it's kind of what he left behind. And this was like I think Fitzgerald could have had Clare out of sight, really. And there would have been, there would have been no need for extra time if he'd been on point. I wouldn't give him anything more than an 8, but it would nearly be more than a 7 point. It'd be nearly more, like, maybe that's really harsh. 7.5. Maybe that's really, really harsh. I don't know. But
did you have him down for 3 points or 4? Joe Butler is saying it was 3.
I'm not 100% certain. I wasn't on duty as regards totting up the scores like that. He missed a goal chance as well in the 46th minute. What happened down for 1, 2, I'd say it was 4, 3. No, I only have him down for 3 here, actually.
Okay, maybe it was 3. I would have said about a 7.5. Like he could have been a 9, but
Yeah.
look, he was really good, really influential, ran his heart out, all the good stuff there. But I don't know if we're trying to reason around our rating here. I'd say 7.5 just because of some of the scores.
I think 7.5 is fair. It was funny at the end of normal time, like he was just kind of lamping ball up the pitch, wasn't he? It was real. He was picking up ball in his own half back line and he was goosed, obviously. And they were just trying to. It's funny, you can't do that in hurling anymore. Sure, you can't. You can't just strike the ball up the field and think, oh, I'll waste a minute here. It's down your throat 10 seconds later, like.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And actually, I think the time you're most vulnerable in hurling is when you drop a shot short because you don't have the shape and you just get picked off very quickly. Stirling had 6 wides. Yeah, there was shots he had dropped short and he had a goal chance saved as well. So next man in then, Cathal Malone.
A very, very good 8.5. Basically, Darragh Fitzgibbon was second favourite for hurler of the year before the ball was thrown in. The 1 point that Fitzgibbon got off Malone actually won the ball, passed it back to, I'm not sure who it was, but they cleared the ball badly down the wing. Like it was a bad clearance. Fitzgibbon picked it up and put it over the bar. So like Malone wasn't even at fault for the 1 point he got off him. I thought he was outstanding. He quenched basically one of Cork's biggest threats and never allowed to get into the game. The only time he threatened to get into the game was when he went in centre forward, and even Conlon did a good job on him as well. I thought Malone was outstanding.
Yeah, and the final 20 minutes actually, Darragh Fitzgibbon was gone up to the half forward line, so it was maybe the likes of Ethan Toomey was up against. Right, TK 10 times tastier. Does he get a 10 out of 10?
He definitely doesn't get a 10 out of 10 now. To be fair, he was brilliant, but he doesn't get a 10 out of 10. Sure, he had his hands on the biggest moments in the game. Like all of Clare's biggest moments, nearly he had his hands all over them. 1-4 from play. I don't think you can take away the fact that he was solid in the first half, you'd say, but he really thundered into it from probably the goal onwards. So from the 51st minute until the 90-something minute, which probably was about 50 minutes all told when you take in injury time and everything, the last 50 minutes he was unmarkable. He was Tony Kelly in Portlaoise that day against Wexford. Like that's the game that Tommy is referring to there, even when he said he was the Harry Potter of hurling. Like you literally thought yesterday, this man can do anything, and he did.
Yeah. Solid is probably a slight bit generous for the first half.
Maybe, yeah.
No, in terms of like, I'm looking at some of the shots here. He had one from 60 yards on the sideline after 7 minutes, and there'd been a very good turnover from Duggan.
He hit the post as well, didn't he?
From 100 yards.
Yeah.
So I just wonder about the decision making sometimes when you're shooting from that distance. But then he caught fire and scored some of the greatest points and goal that we've seen. Especially like, I would imagine him scoring a goal like that in a club game all the time. But it's just when you're in a cauldron with 82,300 and you have the clarity when you're going through to do that. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
9.5?
Yeah, I think so, because like from the amount, let's say, including you're saying about 100 minutes or whatever, even if he had a quiet, let's say, opening 40 minutes, there's still about an hour where he was sensational. Yeah. So, I'd be happy to go at 9.5.
I was reading online there as well. It's gas, the significance of his scores, though. The goal in the 51st minute, it was unbelievable, but it also put Clare into the lead. His point in the 71st minute put Clare 1 ahead with the game nearly over. His point in the 77th minute drew Clare level. His point in the 81st minute, that was the last minute of the first half injury or first period of extra time, drew Clare level. His point in the 88th minute put Clare ahead again into a lead that they wouldn't relinquish. Like, it doesn't get any bigger than that. Like, that's like, as someone was saying on Twitter, like, that is like Michael Jordan clutch moment stuff. Like, it was outrageous. So I think 9.5 is all good.
Yeah, okay. Right, then, moving on to Mark Rogers, scored a brilliant goal, popped himself a few points. I think 1-3 he finished up with. Ran out of gas, but quite influential.
Like for when he was on the field, he didn't exactly do much wrong, did he? It's funny, like he didn't get the chance for his rating to go down any lower, but he was brilliant. Now, should he have got in for the goal? That's probably another question. Realistically, he probably should have been cut off at the pass and should never been able to get the shot away.
I actually thought he did so well with the way he carried the ball all the way to the man, and he was actually hopping it up on his stick, making it tantalizing. I think he was just like teasing the man with the ball and waited to the exact last second to cut back the other way. I think that was unbelievable execution. I thought it was fantastic.
Do you know what it reminded me of in real time? I was like, oh my God, Conor McGrath has the ball. It's 2013 All-Ireland final replay. If he think to the other side, he was probably going right top corner to the left-hand top corner. He went to the left, obviously, and buried it. I'd probably give him a 9, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're it's not going to cost us that to give a 9 here, and if we're sort of humming and hawing between 8.5 and 9, let's just go with the 9.
I think he did very little wrong. Very little wrong now, if I have to say.
He was excellent. He was excellent. Peter Duggan, 1 point from play, I think. A sideline, worked really hard. Obviously, there was that moment when Rob Downey got away from him. Now, to be fair, the two of them travelled past a Cork forward and a Clare defender going out the way. And I know you kind of stick with your man because you might be worried, okay, if I go for Downey's man here, it'll be popped off to my man and he'll score. But there does reach a certain point of somebody soloed through where you have to just go to the man and at least force a pass.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with
you.
I
don't blame Duggan for that.
Lads were so fixated with who they were marking, and I can understand that because say Adam Hogan doesn't want to leave Alan Connolly, like the goal king, free. Like you're probably happier for the back to take his shot, but you'd imagine he should have been met at least at the 45 and again at the 21, let alone getting in there. Duggan is a minimum 8. But probably, to me, he's probably an 8.5 because Clare really struggled when he went off the pitch. If you look at it, he went off the pitch in, was it the 66th minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shanahan for Duggan. And Clare could not get their hands on a high ball thereafter. Like really, really struggled to get their hands on a puck out. And that coincided with, I thought, Clare starting to hang on and like nearly willing the finish line to come. I thought they couldn't get their hands on the ball, and that was a lot to do with Duggan not being on the pitch. To see him running off or jogging off, like he looked destroyed. I don't know if he gotten a dead leg or what he gotten, but no, I think he's. And funny enough, Shane, I don't think our ratings are just being clouded by the fact that Clare won the match. Like I do think they won a hell of a lot of the matchups. I'd have 8.5 for Duggan. Yeah,
I'm happy to go with that. McCarthy, I think when he came back, he had probably more of an influence than when he initially started out. Like he was good, don't get me wrong, and he hit his frees well and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he probably didn't totally light it up, and obviously finished his goal really, really well. Yeah, so he's still probably up there around an 8.
He's definitely he's an 8 at least, I would say. Yeah, like he was 100% from the frees, albeit he didn't get too many of them. Definitely not in the second half, anyway. But I thought he made a huge impact in extra time. If you're looking at it here, after he came back on, he gets a free in the 74th minute. In the second period of extra time, he gets another free in the 83rd minute. Then he followed up straight away in the same minute that Kelly got that. That point, one of the greatest points of all time. McCarthy puts over a point as well. I think he might have been fouled as well for a free. I can't 100% remember. But no, he's
he did actually. The one in the 82nd minute, Tommy O'Connell tripped him.
That's the one, yeah. He's a solid 8, I would say.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go with 8. Certainly made a very big.
Shorten his name maybe to A Mac, and we'll be able to get it on. It'll be on the graphic then. Same with O'Donnell, maybe you could shorten it to Sod or something like that.
Or I could just move the graphic over a small bit.
You could a bit, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Shane O'Donnell then. What do you think? I thought around the 50-odd minute that he was after doing his shoulder, because you could see him getting treatment. He looked in bother. I don't know if he was ever quite the same player in the game after that.
No, you're probably right. Like I thought he was in big trouble until the physio came in, and I did see him lifting his arm fully up. Eddie Brennan tells a great one about Tommy Walsh doing his AC joint, and the doctor came in and was like, Tommy, lift your arm. And he's like, this no bother. He's like, Tommy, will you lift your injured arm, please? And he's trying to lift it up like that, and not even able to get it up. Like, it wasn't his most influential game for Clare. But I'm probably thinking of that 5-minute burst in the first half when they needed him and they needed someone to step up. I probably wouldn't give him more than an 8, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a very solid game, but he was, like, I thought Kieran Joyce did well on him when he was out with centre forward. He got a bit of joy when he went inside. Listen, he's so slippery and created a few good goal chances as well. But he wouldn't have had his hands on as much as maybe he had in other games. But listen, allied to that was probably the fact that he would have taken more watching, so the other lads would have maybe been able to excel a bit more. Maybe there was less focus on Kelly and more focus on O'Donnell. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's an 8. I think he's an 8. Really, really good. The shoulder injury certainly impeded him, and a lot of people are saying that in the comments. Yeah, I think so. David Reedy then. So David scored a couple of points. Thought he worked really hard. Thought he did a lot of positive stuff. Yeah, I reckon he'd be an 8 as well.
Yeah, 7.5 or 8. Again, he was very, very slippery at different stages. I'm glad he got to start the All-Ireland final. There was people were thinking, he obviously missed out for that Munster final, and if Ryan Taylor was going to start, it was potentially Reedy was going to be the one to miss out. I thought he did a very, very solid game, worked very hard. What did he end up with? 2 points, am I right in saying? Yeah, 32nd minute and the 50, where's the other one? And the 49th minute, yeah. No, I thought he was good. I thought potentially he would have came back on as well. Maybe I'd probably be leaning more towards a 7.5 if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, he had his fingerprints on a few other scoring chances as well, so he certainly impacted. But yeah, I think maybe 7.5 is about right. Yeah, played quite well.
Yeah,
and then the bench. So we'll go through. Clare used 8 subs, I think. So Cian Galvin, Darragh Lohan, Ryan Taylor, Shane Amori, Aaron Shanaher, Ian Galvin, Shane Meehan, Robin Mounsey. It wasn't Shanaher's day. We all know that. He's had some really big performances for them this year.
And isn't it amazing, Shano? Had he got that point about 10 seconds after coming onto the field, I bet his day would have been completely different.
Yeah. And look, he gave away a free or two and stuff like that. But look, it just wasn't his day. But I think across the board, Cian Galvin did fine. Darragh Lohan came in, did well. Ryan Taylor did well, got himself a point. Morey did okay late on. Ian Galvin, I thought, was very good. He set up a couple of chances, scored a point. Meehan obviously scored the winner. Mounsey on very, very short amount of time. I'd say in terms of the bench impact, you're probably looking at about an 8.
8, I would say, yeah. 8.5. I was really impressed particularly impressed with the 2 backs that came on. I thought Cian Galvin changed the game, genuinely. Shane Kingston was looking like running riot, and I'm not sure if he touched the ball after Galvin came on when did Cian Galvin come in? After he came on in the 80th minute, I don't know if Kingston touched the ball for the remainder of the game. Maybe I missed, but he definitely quenched what was a big threat. Big threat. A fella in Kingston who was looking like he could win the game by himself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, that's the Clare ratings for the All-Ireland final. Let us know. Do you agree, disagree? Is there anyone that we've wronged? Anyone that we gave too much to? Let's move on to Cork then. So Patrick Collins, his instructions were go long all day. So that's pretty much what he did for the most part. In terms of the goals, could he have saved any of them? I don't think he could have saved. No, I don't think he could have saved any of them. So you couldn't really criticise him there. Then that time he saved from Tony Kelly. So you do have that save in there.
That was a very good save, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if his instruction was go long, pretty much most of the time, we can't criticise him for that. Then again, are you supposed to sort of, at the same time, look up and decide, okay, this mightn't be working, I need to kind of switch it up a little bit?
Yeah.
So, like, he made a good save, couldn't blame him for any of the goals, seemed solid enough back there. Still think he's probably a 7. Like, Quilligan, probably nudges him.
Yeah, 7. I think 7 is fair. It was obviously a direction that's how they were going to go with their puckouts, and come what may. So I think he definitely has the capability of switching it up, but that didn't seem like that was the instruction. So I think 7 is fair.
Yeah, Martin O'Bert says, I thought the referee got the tug correct. This is on Robbie O'Flynn. Minimal contact, plus if he was tugged back, the Cork player would have been pulled back, but he fell/dived forward. Most unnatural movement. Right, okay, Niall O'Leary then thought he was very, very good himself and really had a good old tussle. I'd have said he's probably about a 7.5 himself.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the two of them marked each other, and they're probably the same rating. I thought O'Leary came out with a lot of ball. Probably wasn't able to break that line like he can, that extra line to be actually on the ball in the middle of the field. He probably was stopped around the 45 or between the 45 and 65. But I thought he was very, very good. The points really got, he earned them as well. Very, very confident, assured on the ball. And he was on the field at the very end as well. And was, yeah, no, I don't know if McCarthy hit him for that point in extra time. I'm not 100% sure. But I thought, I thought O'Leary was good. I think 7.5 is more than fair.
Yeah, and then Owen Downey at the start of the game, he was on Aidan McCarthy. Obviously, Aidan got a couple of scores in that, but I was still thought Downey did quite well. And a couple of times late in the game, when ball was blasted up the field and he had to turn, and yourself, if you're the last defender and you have to go and collect the ball with a man behind you who's going to look to swipe that ball away from you as you lift it up. A couple of times he did so well to get down and almost have his fingers down at the grass to lift it up or to catch it instantly. I thought he did very well in some of those situations. I'd be looking to give him a 7.5.
Yeah, he clipped the point in the 57th minute as well after taking a pass from his brother Rob. Yeah, I thought he was very, very solid. Like for the Clare goals, he wasn't in around the vicinity of Kelly. Maybe some will say he should have been. But I think I don't think he was at fault for any of the goals or anything. No, none of them came like right down the guts, and he wasn't there or didn't get tackled in. So no, I thought he was solid. The fullback all-star is going to be interesting now, I have to say, because there's going to be a few lads in contention. But I thought Downey was solid. Yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, Kieran Joyce. So he spent much of the game on Duggan, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, he was on Shane O'Donnell at the start anyway. I had him marking him. Scored a point, took a big hit at one stage. Did you see him sort of favouring his ribs? And then he'd go off and get a little bit of treatment at one stage. I thought he was pretty good, probably like a 7. Didn't dominate, but certainly did some positive things.
Yeah, I thought he was a bit better than that now, I have to say.
Yeah, would you go as far as an 8?
No, I'd definitely go 7.5. He got an outrageous block on David Fitz for that goal chance in the 77th minute. Remember the one Kelly flashed across the goal?
Yeah.
Joyce got a really good block. No, I thought he was very solid in a half back line that was probably under a bit of pressure. I thought he was very, very solid. Now, I think 7.5 is on the money, I would say.
Yeah, okay. I actually, in my haste, I skipped over Sean O'Donoghue there, who, he had some good moments. He started off on Mark Rogers, had some good moments and some tough moments. And I know you mentioned it earlier, and I'm not sure if he could have done too much about it, but the time that Kelly flicked the ball over him just to get in for the goal, I don't know how much I'd criticize him over that. I think it's a tough job back there. You look at a Clare team scoring 329, and I'm still thinking he did quite well. It's just one of those games where it's really open. Cork play with 3 men up at the top of the pitch. You're kind of accepting that you're going to concede a certain amount. So I'd still be thinking around a 7.
It's so hard to defend in the modern game, and especially how quick it is. I think 7 is generous. I think 6.5 is fair.
Okay.
I think 6.5 is fair.
On what basis?
I don't think he was able to, maybe it was a lot to do with it. He definitely took maybe 2 puckouts off Collins, but he wasn't walking out with ball like he normally would. Even against Galan, the semi-final, and he had trouble on Galan, particularly when the ball was in around the goal. He was still coming out with ball. He was winning 50-50 ball. He probably didn't win as much of that yesterday. I didn't think he can be influential in games without, keeping his man scoreless. I thought he's been on the ball a lot more in other games. That was just my reading of it anyway.
Okay, we'll go with 6.5 then. Rob Downey, I thought it was crucial that he had to go off, scored one of the great All-Ireland final goals.
One of the great All-Ireland final goals that amazingly has been totally overshadowed.
Yeah. Remember, was it full time? I went into the press box and you knew extra time was coming. I don't know, was it you or someone else that said, geez, it feels like about a month ago that Downey scored that goal.
It was. It was me. Yeah. I just kept walking around going to everyone, Shane, a half-time, a full-time, a half-time of extra time, just the day-lo, hurling. You didn't need to say anything else,
Would you go as far as giving him an 8? Like Duggan was still good. Like, you know, you can't get away from that.
Duggan was still good now. I give Rob Downey 7.5. Thought he was still influential in the game. But like I thought after the first quarter, I thought Duggan got a decent bit of joy out of him in the air now, I have to say. But Downey was still good now.
Yeah, what time did Downey go off? I'm just trying to see, do I have it here? Yeah, so it was the 74th minute. So he lasted longer than when did Duggan go off?
66, I think.
Okay, so not too much in it. I don't know. I would have said an 8.
Okay,
an 8.
If you're strong on that, I'll probably have to look back at it again. But if you're strong on that, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I need to watch it back as well. Eamon Ray says, for F's sake, Rob is 8.5. You're very harsh on the Cork hacks, I presume, back.
The only thing I'd say about that, he's probably right. You can only judge Downey for when he was on the pitch, and when he was on the pitch, he was quite good. I do think 8. I do think it's 8, maybe a little more than 8, but not that much. I think 8 is very, very fair.
So Coleman did, and then he did some good stuff. His man scored 3. He scored 3. His man could have done an awful lot more, and still, I thought he got on the ball an awful lot. If his man gets 7.5, like sometimes in a match, you get away with your man not scoring. We've all been in that situation where, you know, you and I would largely have played it as backs. But like your man goes on a solo, you're chasing him, you know, he has a shot. You know, he's worked the open situation. You have been beaten, we'll say. And he puts it wide. And at the end of the game, no one cares about that situation. They're all just like, you did the finest there. You know, for example, you held your man to a point. Bottom line, you know, he broke even in terms of scoring and he got on a lot of balls. So does he get a similar rating?
He does get a similar rating because he was very influential on the ball. The amount of space that was afforded to David Fitzgerald was criminal now at different stages. Like he had open season down that left flank in the second half. It was actually unbelievable to watch. Coleman was brilliant on and this was probably a bit of the worry going into the game. It was maybe actually defending and marking his man and putting a premium on his man not getting scores away. But he did have a huge influence at the other end. Like I thought he like you have to defend as well, obviously, but he was superb on the ball. Like even Coleman gets a point. I just actually have a mark down here. 80th minute, Mark Coleman, superb energy. Like he was still flying when other lads were flagging around him. I'd probably match him up with Fitzgerald, and I'd probably give him a 7.5 as well, leaning towards an 8 because I did think he was one of their better players.
Do you remember when he scored a point off his stick at one stage? That was the 70th minute. He had a runner on the inside. There was a chance to work a 3v2 for a goal chance. I actually think Cork were quite poor at realising when maybe a goal was on. And even like Robbie O'Flynn's shot from around the 21, he had options. Now, there was 2 Clare defenders there, but there was two Clare defenders, but there was 2 Cork attackers. And if you had to carry it straight at one of them, there would have been options. So I don't feel that they were as good in front of goal or as spotting the opportunities as they normally would be.
Because that's normally the modus operandi. It's like, can we score a goal? And if we can, let's go for it. Whereas, listen, sure, All-Ireland final day probably does that to you as well. You're very careful of, not careful, but you don't want to make a mistake or miss an opportunity. That point was a good score off the hurl. He got an unbelievable score in the 75th minute off his right-hand side, which is a collector's item.
It sure is.
Yeah.
You call him one-sided?
No, but he prefers his left.
Less dominant.
I put it to you that way. I give him a 7.5. A strong 7.5.
Okay. Next man up then is, who is it?
Dalton.
Tim O'Mahony. Tim O'Mahony did an awful lot of good stuff. I'd say he's around an 8. Jeez, he's had some semi-final and final.
Yeah, O'Mahony went off. When did he go off?
Let's see. For the 85th minute, Luke Meade came on for him.
Yeah, like I thought he had a very good game, though, I have to say.
Yeah.
Now he was on Kelly for Kelly's goal, and he was on Kelly for Kelly's 74th minute point.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame him for the wizardry from Kelly. You know, and especially if someone is coming on the burst from deep and they get a pop pass, which there's no way of intercepting a pop pass like that.
Yeah,
It's just not possible. And after that, it was wizardry. So I'm sure O'Mahony looked at himself and went, "Just fair play to you." Like we all look at it and say, "That's just an unbelievable player doing something brilliant." We can't really mark him down too much, not too much over.
Comp Co Productions reckons you can anyway. You can blame him though. I would give him a good 8.
Not a bad 8, a good 8.
Not bad. Yeah, he put over 3 boomers. Like it was his best performance for Cork in a fair while, I'd say.
Darragh Fitzgibbon, then he got 2 points, but I would say for what he can produce, I'd say 6.5 is probably what I'd be looking at.
Yeah, well, like I was even looking at him on Conlon, and you were kind of you were expecting him to cut loose or expecting, and it's a lot to do with Conlon, to be honest with you. But you were expecting him to exploit the space, and it just never really happened. So he got that point at the end of the first half. Didn't have much of a play in extra time at all, and got that point in the 61st minute as well. It was a brilliant catch straight from a puck out. It was one of the few ones that they actually did catch directly from a Collins puck out. Yeah, it's probably a 6.5/7. 6.5 might be a tiny bit harsh, but he didn't influence the game. Yeah, no, it's probably fair because he didn't influence the game like he can. Like he's been an 8.5 and 9 in most games. He'd been averaging good to 4 points per game from play before this, so it was well down on his standards to this point.
Yeah, and he's the sort of player we love watching in full flight, but again, like one or two others, it just what, and Declan Dalton, it wasn't fully his game either, so he's probably looking at something like maybe a 6.
Yeah, I think 6 is probably fair. Like I'm just looking back here, even he'd a wide at the start of the second half. He'd a wide near the end of the first half. Just wasn't really his day. Did he get a chance? He didn't score at all, Shane, am I right in saying?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't get to influence it from distance, from frees or anything like that as well.
He did set up Harnedy for that goal chance.
He did, is right, yeah. I think 6 is about right, Shane, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
like not been smart though then. Like don't like hammering lads, but was Fitzgibbon only 0.5 better than Dalton?
Well, look,
I know we're trying to be fair, but like you know what I mean.
I'd say like given the quality that Fitzgibbon has and what he's capable of, like he's capable of. They're different players, but Tony Kelly levels of grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and just bending it to his will.
Yeah.
And not many players are in that category, so that's why we're probably judging Fitzgibbon a little bit harsher, but that's based on how highly we rate him.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's all a twisted compliment, if you will.
Yeah, he wasn't happy coming off. I don't know if he wasn't happy with himself or he wasn't happy with management, but I think he snapped his hurl across his knee, did he, or something on the way off. I think I could just hear it break, and I didn't see it. Shane Barrett, I had it down. I thought Shane Barrett was nearly Cork's most. I thought if Cork were going to win, that Barrett was going to light it up. It just never really happened. He obviously had that point. The point
2 points in the first 11 minutes.
Yeah, Barrett's performance or been in and out of the game is probably very symptomatic of Cork. When Barrett was in the game, they were going well. When he wasn't in the game, they started drifting out of it. He never got the smell of any breaks off puck outs. He never got a puck out into space. And I imagine it was a very, very frustrating afternoon. Thought he might have been put back in maybe at some stage because lads can redeem themselves. Like, remember Brian Malotby from Killadangan taking off scoreless in that county final, comes on and gets the winner. It was absolutely outstanding in extra time, but he wasn't given a chance kind of to redeem himself. So, what, 6.5?
So it's probably a 6, just again because of the talent he has. He did score his 2 points, but just knowing what he can do. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a 6.
Okay, I'll go along with that. No, it's probably it's probably a little bit harsh, but yeah, okay. Because he was in hurler of the year form coming into the game. He was third favourite.
It doesn't have much to do with this game. That almost kind of bolsters my point that when we know how devastating it can be, Yeah. Are you ready? Are you willing to sign off on it though? Are you co-signing
6.
this?
No, it'd be more of a 6.5, being honest with you. But maybe, like, after the 11th minute, I don't really recall him having many plays in the game, to be honest with you. So 6 is probably fair. I don't. Conor definitely got the better of that matchup for the 50 minutes thereafter.
Harnedy, I think he was about an 8. Like he had to go off, and that was a huge part of Cork's downfall. What would you think?
4 from play. When did he go off?
He went off 67th minute or something like that.
He did.
Yeah, 67. Do you remember that beautiful touch he had down the sideline, and he recycled the ball back for, I think, O'Mahony to score a brilliant point? He did some great stuff.
He did. No, he was very, very good. I'd say he probably got himself heavily into the All-Star conversation yesterday. I'd say not that will be any solace to him.
Yeah, okay. So are you happy to sign off?
Yeah.
Patrick Horgan then? Look, we've already said it wasn't his day, and certainly it was Conor Lean's day. So I'd be thinking he'd be, like a lot of his fellow forwards here, probably in the 6 category.
Yeah, if Lean is a 9 and he dominated the battle, I'd say 6 is fair.
And especially, like, we are crediting some of those pressure frees, and like, if it's still staying at 6, that kind of tells you that we really do think it was a quiet day for him. And I mean, we would like to see that. We don't want to see him finish without an All-Ireland, and you want to see him play well on the big day, and he did contribute, but it just really wasn't his day.
No, it didn't happen for him. And like, whatever about Conor Lean spoiling him, he did a lot more than spoil him. He spoiled him, and he built attacks and walked out with ball and was cool and calm on him. So yeah, no, he definitely got the better of that duel.
Yeah, he finished up with 2 from play, and I think I had it down for 10 frees as well. So
yeah,
look, he definitely contributed. But look, we're trying to be as honest as we, because like if we constantly in every show just said everyone's a great fella and everyone was brilliant and all, and all that kind of stuff, I don't know if people would be that interested in watching it. And we know we'll probably get a bit of flack here and there because we're trying to be honest about it. But anyway.
No, I think we're not L'Keep, Shane. We're not going to give him by his 3s or 2s or anything. I think we're okay. We're forming a reasoned argument as to why if someone is getting a score, not giving a team 0 or something.
Yeah, we're doing our best on it. Connolly finished with a point. I have to say, early on in the game, when I saw him turning around his own 65 on the sideline and having a shot from 100 yards, I was like, really the last thing I think you should be doing here, because to me, he's a player who gets his scores inside the 45.
That was Cork's first wide, Shane. Was it 15th minute?
Yeah.
It was their first wide of the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Shane, you only had 2 shots.
Yeah. He had a good break at one stage against Adam Hogan, which allowed Horgan to set up Harnedy for a point. That was the 38th minute. After that, remember the time that he turned Adam Hogan and slipped? He had a chance to get himself. Now, he could have popped it over. So there was a point there for him. But, he was trying to do what he's programmed to do, which is try and get goals. But, yeah, look, it wasn't his day either. I would have said a 6 again.
Yeah, I think 6 is fair. I think 6 is fair there, yeah. Like, no point in saying any different. Hogan had the strong arm in that duel. He obviously it was a pull on Connolly that got Hogan his yellow card in the 28th minute. Horgan scored the resulting free. But, like, Connolly didn't have near the influence that you would have expected him to. Like, Connolly was seen as, the man that Clare had to stop. Definitely one of the probably 3 key pillars. And they definitely did stop him, to be fair.
Okay, so we're happy enough then to go to 6 again. So, Brian Hayes, 2 points from play?
2 points from play.
Cleary mostly on him. Now, I did say earlier about Adam Hogan breaking a ball on him from a puck out. I distinctly noted that in the 6th minute, because there was a couple of times in a row that Clare nicely broke their puck outs, Cork's puck outs, and went straight up and scored. But yeah, Brian Hayes.
Just on this comment here from Eamon Ray. So you think Cork were hammered on these ratings, but give me realistic ratings. Like, give me, like, I think that maybe we've slightly pumped up the Clare ones, but like Clare won. Like, go down through the duels, lads. Clare won 9/10 of the duels on the pitch. They did, And they won some of them quite convincingly. They didn't punish them on the scoreboard, but like I don't think we've been in any way harsh on the ratings at all, to be honest with you. I think we've been very realistic.
Yeah, JM says very fair ratings from a Cork man. Michael Murphy, how can you rate the Clare players that much higher? You'd swear we lost by 10. Should have been a draw. It was a robbery. Cork bench should have scored more. O'Connell and Toomey got a lot of possession but couldn't convert, unfortunately. I just feel like this kind of maybe, I thought Cork would win the game. But they have the talent to win the game and they didn't hit their level. And I think if they did, they would have won the game. But Clare probably outmanned them a little bit in this game. And, you know, it was decided.
Wow.
One puck of a ball. But they probably did because, like, you look at the midfield for the most part in half forward line, you know, we really soundly feel that Clare won those battles. And probably because they horsed them out of it and made it into a tight physical battle rather than allowing it to be a track meet, as they'd say in American sports.
A track meet, beautiful. I tell you what, like, Cork lost nothing in defeat now for me. As I mentioned earlier, the fact that they managed to stay in the game despite playing so poorly and clock up the score that they did, despite playing, so poorly is harsh, despite not reaching the levels that they did in the semi-final.
They didn't play the game on their terms.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I do think they were one-dimensional. I didn't see a plan B or a plan C when, like we're talking about Brian Hayes, the big tactic of the ball going over the half-back line and Hayes coming in, breaking it, that didn't work. Like that was totally nullified. And yet they persisted with it, which I thought was strange now, to be honest with you. Now, like I thought Hayes was really dangerous early doors. I thought it was really dangerous maybe first 20 minutes. I thought his threat was nullified very well thereafter. I thought Darragh Lohan was outstanding on him, I have to say. I thought he was brilliant on him. For a guy playing fullback championship, and he's making his first appearance at fullback in a big championship game, I thought he was outstanding. I thought he got the better of that duel as well. And if I would have said that Conor Cleary marginally got the better of the duel too.
So what would you give him?
Probably give him a 6.5. I think a 7 would be inflated, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I had 6.5 written in there already. I was just curious to see, would you go down the same route? And you did. I think it's like it was a 1-point game, but Cork just were constantly chasing the game. And I think we have to, like, and you did, we have to give Cork credit. Like, even go back to the Waterford game, they went down to 14 men and then 13 men for the game with the black card. And they were only beaten, they got a late goal to pull it back against Waterford, only beaten by 3 points, I think. There was the game against Clare, nearly pulled that back and almost won it despite going down to 14 men.
First time they've been beaten with 15 men this year.
Yeah, and like, I think the way they came back against Limerick late on the season on the line, they found a way, obviously paddled Tipperary, so we won't dwell on that one too much.
Eamon Ray just asked, was Reedy better than Hayes? Hayes' rating, Reedy was off the pitch and did damage while he was on it. Hayes stayed on the pitch, and like Diarmuid Ryan, if your influence wanes, your rating comes down. You know, like I'm just looking at the notes here for extra time. Like I don't see Hayes having any influence on any scores in extra time. That's just being honest. So was Reedy better than Hayes? Yeah, for while he was on the pitch, yeah, he was, I would say.
Yeah. Gaming Critique says, yesterday is only delaying the inevitable Cork juggernaut that's coming down the tracks. Stockroom Tim, the talk the last 2 weeks from Cork was they had the All-Ireland one. Now they're sour over ratings. To be fair, I don't think they're that bad of it.
I actually think they've been. I actually think they've taken it quite well, especially with some controversial decisions involved. A lot of it comes back to the fact that Clare played the better stuff on the day, and rightly or wrongly, when it's viewed like a team deserved it more, people are less critical about the decisions. That's the way I would see it. Whereas it was 50-50 in those decisions go against Cork, there's absolute uproar, and listen, rightfully so.
Okay, so then in terms of the bench for Cork, you've got the players that were used were Damon Cahalane, Ger Millerick, Tommy O'Connell, Luke Meade, Ethan Toomey, Jack O'Connor, Shane Kingston, and Robbie O'Flynn. So they dipped into their bench nicely. They got a couple of points out of Shane Kingston. They got a point out of Robbie O'Flynn. By the way, you know that late point, that attempt that went wide? What a catch. I mean, you've got to give him credit for that. And yeah, I think the bench for Clare definitely made more of an impact. By the way, we've given, I think, 7 players there. Is it 7 or is it even 8? Clare players, Cork players, 7 or more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 players there. So we're not saying that they had a systems failure across the board here.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Yeah, no, I think we're more than fair as regards to bench impacts. I thought Ethan Toomey had a big impact. It just didn't really work out for him on the scoreboard. He'd a wide in both halves of extra time actually, and he might have had a mishit shot as well at some stage in there too. But he got on a lot of ball. I'm surprised Lahan didn't feature in a game where it was opening up. Hasn't featured the last couple of games. I'd probably go with something like 6.5 for the Cork bench. I just don't. They didn't get anything near the same squeeze out of their bench as Clare did.
Yeah, no. So yeah, let us know. What do you think? I mean, some people certainly don't agree with us. Others seem to do so. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm happy enough with that overall.
Yeah. In fairness, like, you know, as I said, we're not in a keep either. We try and be balanced and honest where possible, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look.